Hello, Marko. I'm Nur Haliza from University Bakrie, and this is Siti Nadila, also my friend. And thank you for taking your time to join this short interview. And then we would like to ask you a few questions about your experience, about your experience in communication in a multicultural workplace. And then, so please feel free to answer honestly and from your experience. So the first question is like, how do you adapt your communication style when you're working with colleagues from different cultural background? Like, how do you adapt? What do you do?
Well, generally, I work for a remote-based company with people all over the world, and it's difficult to sometimes to understand different cultures. So you need to be mainly professional. You stick to the topic of the work and try to find some common ground there. And it's usually pretty easy because we work the same stuff. Doesn't matter if in India, Europe, America, or Africa, we are using the same tools. So we have something in common. We are reading the same websites, we are reading the same documentation, so we can find some common ground. And you try to avoid the topics that are inflammatory or controversial, like personal or country related stuff, and stick to the job at hand.
Okay, for the next question is what is the biggest challenge you have when a communication in multicultural workplace?
Okay, so I have a typical example of different cultures and different collaboration experiences. So, for example, we collaborate with a lot of Indian developers where there is a big cultural thing that you cannot say no or I don't know. And a lot of the times in our profession, it's normal to say no, it's not possible right now, or I don't know. But a lot of colleagues need a lot of time to get used to that idea because other people depend on them and that they will deliver solutions what they promised, and instead they when the deadline is finished they are empty handed, so to say, or half finished. So that can be challenging with different cultures, so you need to take it that a little bit of hand holding people from different cultures until you get to used to them and how they work. And when you know that you can rely on them, you let them uh, finish the job alone, but until then you monitor them, for example, closely. So you cannot rely only on words, you need to take into consideration your experience when dealing with people from different cultures.
Okay, the third question is what your strategy or approaches do you usually use to maintain effective communication in cross-cultural situation? Like, what do you do?
Well, this is interesting question because I usually come with friendliness and straightforwardness, kind of combination. So I friendly try to say everybody to relax, make everybody relax, to be laid back and not be like strict. But also at the same time, I set expectations from the start and say as long as you finish your obligation and what you promised and what is your job for the day or week or month, I don't care what you do with the rest of your work. So the best strategy for me is like approach that works for me is approaching friendly, but with precise defined stuff that you need from your people you work with in the team.
The next question is, have you ever experienced misunderstanding due to cultural difference? If so, how did you handle it?
Well, at the beginning, it was challenging. I mean, my first few times dealing with people from different cultural backgrounds. But after some time, you get used to focus mostly on the work. So, as I said before, if first times is always the most difficult, there can be, depending on the miscommunication, there it can be just between the two people that someone is upset, or it can go in a higher level. I never went, too far and have some significant problem, but uh, as I said from the start, I try to avoid topics that are outside of the workplace, and so I didn't have big issues.
Okay, for the last question is, in your opinion, how important are empathy and openness in building good communication in multicultural workplace? So feel free to share your opinion.
Well, I would say empathy and openness is important in understanding people, especially when working remotely or in office. It comes to the same, but remotely you kind of are detached from your colleagues. You don't see them in person, so it's kind of hard to get connected completely to them, and it's harder to have some empathy for their living day struggles or problems, especially when communicating with their English level might not be as good as other colleagues, and they may have different personality. So you have to have a strong empathy towards those people that are good professionals but cannot communicate effectively, or are shy and have other issues. Also, openness is important, that those people are explain, come to you, approach to you, and tell you who they are and what they are. Because if you're open and they are not, there are going to be, it's one-sided street, and you're never going to connect as a team. You're always going to be a group of individuals then, and those people stick out. So I think it's really important to have understanding for people, but also to set communication straight, but from the both sides.
Okay, thank you, Marco. We really appreciate your sharing your stories and thoughts, how communication across culture can be managed and more effective. Thank you again for your time and wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Siti and
Marco.
Nur.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Terima kasih Mas Sofi udah nyempetin waktunya. Mungkin sebelum kita masuk ke sesi tanya jawab, boleh kenalin dirinya dulu dong Mas. Sedikit dari mana, namanya siapa, usianya berapa, sama saat ini kerja di mana, bidangnya apa?
Oke, jadi perkenalkan Mbak, nama saya Debby Ulivia, asal saya dari Wonogiri. Terus saya latar belakangnya IT, saya bekerja di PT Nemesis Indonesia. Terus untuk saya bekerja di industri IT sebagai programmer. Seperti itu, Mbak.
Oke, baik. Berarti saat ini masih di programmer ya, Mas, di IT software ya. Oke. Kita lanjut aja, Mas. Ini mungkin saya mau sedikit minta beberapa pendapat ya untuk komunikasi psikologis, untuk apa beberapa tanggapannya nih mengenai pekerjaan yang relevan sekarang ya. Nah, yang pertama nih Mas, gimana sih caranya menyesuaikan komunikasi sama teman kerja yang mungkin berasal dari latar belakang yang beda gitu ya, entah itu dari orang luar, mungkin orang China, India, Vietnam, mungkin boleh di-sharing sedikit Mas.
Jadi untuk berkomunikasi ini dengan rekan kerja yang berlatar belakang berbeda, tentu kita harus pertama-tama mempelajari terlebih dahulu latar belakang mereka, budaya mereka itu kita pelajari dulu, terus kita berusaha untuk mencari tahu kan seperti apa budaya bekerja mereka seperti itu. Kemudian kita berusaha untuk mendengarkan apa feedback dari mereka apakah komunikasi kita salah atau tidak. Seperti itu, Mbak.
Oke. Selanjut ya, untuk yang kedua, gimana sih Mas tantangan terbesarnya yang dihadapin saat komunikasi di lingkungan kerja multikultural yang memang budayanya mungkin beda-beda gitu. Gimana cara nanggepinnya Mas?
Oke, jadi untuk tantangan terbesar tentu untuk budaya ya. Mereka punya budaya masing-masing, kebiasaan masing-masing. Yang itu tentu kadang berbeda dengan kita, terutama yang untuk yang dari luar ya. Cara tapi yang kita pelajari terlebih dahulu dari budayanya, kemudian bahasanya, bahasa mereka. Kita kalau dengan orang luar kita berkomunikasinya dengan bahasa Inggris, mereka punya program sendiri, kita perlu menyesuaikan gitu Mbak, yang mereka gunakan seperti itu. Jadi kita harus perlu menyesuaikan diri terhadap budaya yang sudah mereka uh, yang mereka gunakan selama ini gitu, budaya kerja terutama. Seperti itu, Pak.
Oke, baik. Kalau selanjutnya untuk strategi atau pendekatan, apa sih yang dilakukan sama Mas Popi untuk menjaga komunikasinya tuh tetap efektif, walaupun emang situasinya lintas ataupun beda budaya, Mas?
Jadi strateginya eh, kita perlu untuk tadi mendengar. Jadi kita supaya efektif kita biasa menggunakan kalau kita menggunakan alat bantu seperti alat bantu project ya, project management. Di sana kita tulis apa yang akan kita kerjakan sehingga diharapkan akan mengurangi gesekan budaya di antara dua orang yang berkomunikasi ini, Mbak. Seperti itu.
Oke, baik. Selanjutnya untuk di lingkungan kerja gitu ya, Mas pernah nggak sih ada kesalahpahaman karena memang beda budaya? Dan kalau emang pernah, gimana tuh cara nanganinnya, Mas Popi?
Kalau untuk kesalahpahaman tentu ada ya, pernah, tapi tidak besar. Tapi untuk menanganinya, kalau kita uh, mel- melakukan kesalahan, yang kita lakukan adalah minta maaf bahwa itu mungkin tidak pas dengan kebudayaan mereka dan berusaha tidak mengulanginya lagi seperti itu, Mbak.
Oke, ini pertanyaan yang terakhir nih, Mas. Nah, menurut Mas Popi, gimana sih seberapa penting empati dan keterbukaan dalam membangun komunikasi yang baik di tempat kerja yang emang multikultural ataupun memang berbeda-beda kultural budayanya?
Jadi untuk empati itu penting supaya kita memahami perasaan mereka, memahami budaya mereka, dan keterbukaan itu penting agar eh, kita tidak mempunyai eh, saling ketersinggungan, Mbak, dalam waktu melakukan pekerjaan seperti itu.
Oke, baik Mas Popi. Jadi yang tadi saya bisa tangkap gitu ya, walaupun emang beda-beda budaya, kita perlu penyesuaian, empati, kita juga saling terbuka, dan emang beda budaya ini kita harus coba tantangin gitu ya, kita coba hadapin gimana cara komunikasinya biar nggak ada salah paham dan saling menghargai ya Mas, biar nantinya di lingkungan kerja itu cukup efektif ya. Seperti itu ya Mas ya.
Ya, betul.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Mas Popi untuk waktunya sore hari ini. Selamat beraktivitas kembali. Selamat sore.
Sore, Mbak.